from TIG Studios Birmingham. This is T-Bone's Afternoon Tea.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. This is T-Bone logging in with another episode of Afternoon Tea. We have a lot of ground to cover today, so without further ado, let's get started. The first episode did take a while to make. I finally got around to getting the video footage together for it, as well as the intro and end music. This came from YouTube's own royalty-free music library. Apparently, when other YouTubers have used it, they have had content ID claims made for using copyrighted music. It's ironic when you think about it. YouTube have set up a royalty-free music library, and then you end up with copyright claims for using the content. That's about the best idea I've heard since the chocolate firecard was invented. It happened to me a while back with royalty-free music that clearly I have the license to use as long as I credit the artist in the credits and or in the description. I did both and still was content ID matched by some obscure company I'd never heard of. Thank goodness I appealed and won. It does give you an idea of the restrictions I face when using copyrighted content on the channel. If I did, I would either have to arrange to have the correct license or not make any money on the video whatsoever. At the moment, I don't make a penny on any of the videos I produce, but when the subscriber base picks up and I'm able to partner with a network, that will change. Even gaming content is a strange situation. The best thing to do is to check with the developers and publishers for the games you want to use. I know that Blizzard titles are fine to use on YouTube, along with SES who makes Euro Truck. Microsoft have relaxed the rules relating to gaming content, but I need to verify that. Wargaming had it clearly stated in their end user license agreement that you can't monetize content unless you are partnered with them. However, I've recently been told that this attitude has changed, so I will have to take a look into that. There are two companies that I know I won't feature unless they relax their rules: Sega and Nintendo. Both companies can be incredibly draconian with any gaming content. Nintendo's policy of taking a cut of every video for your entire channel isn't really a solution either. This leaves the content creator with very little ad revenue left over, so it doesn't really give much of an incentive to use their games. As for Sega, well, they've been known to issue copyright strikes against YouTube channels using their games, without you passing go or collecting £200. The bad news is that includes everything that Creative Assembly make, so I doubt I will be featuring any Total War games on my channel anytime soon. On other gaming news, Heroes of the Storm has already been released, which is quite a surprise, especially when you consider I don't think it had an open beta phase. As a MOBA though, it is very enjoyable and a nice change of pace from the other games I play. While it is similar to other MOBAs, it has enough differences to keep you playing. I think this will be a game I will play now and again and feature on the channel. Hearthstone I haven't really played for a while, but it is something I intend to get back into at some point. As you know, I've put a lot of time into World of Tanks recently and intend to release more content. Speaking of which, I've changed clans to Sir Havoc's clan. It was sad to leave, but I felt the move was the most appropriate for me. Why? Well, mainly because I want to get better at the game. This will allow me to be more effective on the battlefield, as well as bring better replays for you to watch when doing tank reviews. While I was talking to my new mentor within the clan, I had a chance meeting with Sir Havoc, who runs his own YouTube channel featuring World of Tanks. Something that I came across thanks to the mighty jingles. I had a very pleasant conversation with him and he is an inspiration to me. Talking to him has really motivated me to produce more content and carrying on with what I'm doing. He really liked the T1 Cunningham review, posting it to his Facebook page. All of a sudden, my subscriber numbers have jumped overnight and my views for that particular video. At the time of writing this, I've gone from 40 to 62 subscribers, with the review generating over 100 views and climbing. This was at a grand sum of 10 the previous evening. I've had positive feedback from my new subscribers as well, which is very encouraging. So far I've had comments from a number of you, so let's share some of those with you. Alan Patterson writes, "Love your style, bud, well entertaining, keep it up." Spirit76 comments, "Thanks for the low tier reviews, a great help for new players. This is echoed by Teddy Retavoy. Tier 1, 2 and 3 reviews seem to be a fantastic idea." Harry Mill commented, "It was a great video as well." As for afternoon tea, my old mate Jet Falco described it as intense, like the new equipment, telling me not to give up as my content is great. He'd also like to see some music in the future. I guess I best get practicing my trombone then for a future episode. I would like to thank you for all your comments and feedback. Keep it coming, as I will feature any comments or questions you may have. Remember, my email address is mailbox@TboneIsGaming.co.uk. So Havoc, if you're watching this, I would like to thank you so much for being a positive influence and support to this channel. I can only hope that I will be able to produce content to the same level or better in future for everyone to enjoy. I do hope that over the next few weeks and months to come that I will improve as a player and become an asset to the clan. The previous night's training was a real breath of fresh air, making me realise what I needed to do to improve. From that session, the one thing I came to see was, when you play World of Tanks, it isn't a race to tier 10 like everyone thinks it is. It is better to see it more as a marathon. What I would say to new players is, by all means, try different tanks of different nations and see what suits you best. I'd say the mid-tier Russian heavies are good ones to start with. However, that doesn't mean you should be in a rush to progress. The best thing you can do is really master a class of tank. Put time and effort into it, developing a crew. By all means, research everything you can on the tank and the one in the next tier. Once your tank is elite, invest all the points and free experience into developing your crew. So although my highest tanks are in tier 8, and I've fought over 4,000 battles, I'm going back down to tiers 1 to 5, with perhaps some tier 6 to really learn the basics. So, what else has happened lately? Well, I've been playing this. I took the plunge and bought my way into the closed beta of World of Warships. My impressions of the game are that it is shaping up to be very good indeed. Wargaming have really captured the essence of World War II naval combat well. It is a difficult game to master and get used to in my opinion, but the challenge is definitely worth the effort. Which brings me neatly to my next topic. Paying to be in closed beta or early access, or Kickstarter for that matter. I know this can be a controversial and divisive issue within the gaming community. The same can be said about pre-orders as well. I must stress this is my opinion on this issue. When it comes to early access, it is a double-edged sword. Early access does mean that you're helping to support a developer with a game by buying it as it is being developed. This means the developer has a cash flow coming in for their game while they continue to develop it. This system, along with Kickstarter funding, has meant games that would have never made it off the drawing board are now here, in final release for you to play. Elite Dangerous and Kerbal Space Program are just two examples of both schemes. However, there are games out there that for whatever reason have entered early access or Kickstarter and simply were never finished, or games that seem to have received a lot of backing but are so far still in development. A prime example of the latter would be Star Citizen, a game that has seen massive amounts of funding and yet it is by no means complete at this stage. It is still in its early stages with no sign of release at this point. That doesn't mean it will ever be finished or released, but at the moment there is no clear sign that this is the case. As for pre-orders, my own personal view is, don't do it. Here's the reason why. There have been a number of AAA releases with pre-order bonuses to tempt you in, either to give the player a complete or unique experience that you won't get on release. The problem I have with that is for everybody else they are denied that content or have to pay it later as DLC. Sometimes it can be a timed exclusive or it will appear in a Game of the Year edition and if you're lucky, it will be patched into the game for free. If the pre-order content promised is merely cosmetic changes, then I'm okay with that. If it means there's content that is missing from the game as a result, or it changes the mechanics, or makes the game easier, that's where it crosses the line. Add to that the number of AAA releases that have a number of bugs on its release date. Think back to games like Rome Total War 2, Battlefield 4, Batman Arkham Origins and Assassin's Creed Unity. All games released in very buggy, poor states. While they do receive patches and most of the issues are fixed, there are still AAAs with bugs in them that will never be addressed. Think of all the marketing hype that surrounds titles like that, only to find that the game isn't as good as you hoped for or is bugged on release. I would implore you not to pre-order and only to buy titles on release that you would have bought anyway and you're anxious to get into. It's the reason why I rarely buy a game on release date. I will wait for the reviews and make an informed decision. Normally, I will wait for a game to go on sale before making a purchase. Unless it is a game I'm really interested in and excited about and want to play on day one, which there is a handful of those. I'd love to get into reviewing games and reviving the mini review series that I did a very long time ago. However, there are only so many hours in the day and that series takes a lot of time to produce. You wouldn't think it for a 5-minute video, but it does take playing at least the main story to completion and selecting appropriate footage to illustrate points. If the channel became a full-time job, then I would revisit this series. Which brings me neatly onto closed beta. I know gamers can be rather impatient and eager to try out the latest game or newest thing coming out, and I get that. I fell into the hype surrounding Hearthstone when it was in closed beta and really desperately wanted a key. Eventually I did get one in the open beta stage and I've ploughed in a fair amount of time and investment into the game. While it has been shelved for the moment, it is a game I pick up now and again and I would like to revisit at some point. I won a competition for closed beta access for Heroes of the Storm and really enjoyed my time with the game when I do play it. I think this will be on a more casual basis rather than on a competitive level. It's a nice change of pace from World of Tanks or World of Warships. The same can be said about any simulation games like Euro Truck Simulator or Flight Simulator as examples. These are games where I can relax and just get immersed in something completely different. So for all of those from the World of Tanks community that have joined and subscribed, don't worry, there will be World of Tanks content. However, there will also be a variety of games featured on this channel as well. I will try and figure out some sort of balance, but with a planned release schedule of about once a week, that could be a challenge. So I may have to dedicate my time to a couple of games like World of Tanks or World of Warships for most of my content and see if I can produce other videos on top of a weekly schedule as and when I can. Afternoon Tea for the moment will be a once a month series. Just a little catch up with various ramblings as well as an idea where the channel is going. The simulation games are not going away, just taking a bit of a back seat for the moment, but it is something that I will feature on occasion. Now, where was I? Oh yes, closed beta. World of Warships is the first game where I've paid real money to actually be in closed beta. Why did I do that? Good question, glad you asked. The controversy for some is buying your way into a game that isn't finished yet. It brings me back full circle to early access and Kickstarter. The thing is, with any game where you buy your way in at an early stage of development, you are taking a risk that the game will never be completed or all the features promised will be implemented. The old saying of caveat emptor definitely applies here. When it comes to something that is developed by a company like Wargaming, that does give you a certain amount of confidence in the product, but it still isn't a guarantee. From the comments surrounding World of Warplanes, it is clear that not everything they produce is necessarily at the standard that everyone expects. You only have to think about some of the games that have come from EA or Ubisoft to find games that are fundamentally broken or don't meet expectations. While the developer and publisher is a fairly good yardstick to measure it by, it still isn't foolproof. In many respects, it was seeing footage coming from YouTube channels like Sidestrafe and The Mighty Jingles. That footage showed me that it was a game that I would be interested in and looked good. In its 10th year, YouTube has become a real resource of information and is slowly becoming a place with good quality channels on a variety of subjects. Yes, you still get the channels that lack production values or you can criticise for various reasons. However, you're more likely to find diamonds in the rough these days. We have entered an interesting time in gaming where the lines between development stages and release have been blurred, where gamers have become speculative investors in games prior to release. I think it has its pros and cons. I suppose the main message for the buyer is to be cautious about where they place their hard-earned money. I will wait until you can see the game with your own eyes, either through reviews or videos that allow you to make an informed decision. I would hope by now the gaming community has become more critical in a constructive way about what they decide to purchase. However, I still think that no matter what I say, you will always have those who will pre-order games and get involved with projects in development stages that turn out to be foolhardy. So what's next? Well, this is turning into quite a long episode, but I'm nearly finished, honest. So what's going on in my personal life? Well, not a lot really. The main things have been a change in clan of World of Tanks, which has definitely been a positive mood. I'm still working on a friendship with my ex-girlfriend, and my car, bless it, has developed an oil leak. Just hope it's nothing serious, as I have a tour to Germany and Holland in August with a big band to go to and save up for. Work-wise, things aren't so great. I'm now working part-time again on evening shifts. This does have the benefit of me having more free time, but it does mean live streaming to Twitch may be difficult. Yes, I can still do it, but the schedule will be erratic due to my work pattern. I would like to live stream at least one night a week. I will keep you posted if this does happen. On a more somber note, one of my friends that I've known for 25 years unfortunately lost her husband to pancreatic cancer recently after 18 years of marriage. I attended the funeral, which is a very moving event. I've been to a number of funerals and I've never seen the crematorium so full it was standing room only. Brian clearly touched so many people and so many lives and will be truly missed. I'm glad that I'm one of those people who knew him and know how much love and joy he gave to Sam over the years. Brian, I know you're a humanist, but wherever you are now, you will be in the thoughts and memories of a lot of people. Clearly, you were an inspiration to many and a great friend. So for those who knew you, and even those who didn't, who are my viewers and subscribers, may we raise a glass to you in tribute and in your memory, and always try to look at the bright side of life. And on that rather solemn end, it's time to end. I would like to thank you all for watching this episode of Afternoon Tea. Until next time, take care and enjoy your gaming. This is Tbone logging off.